I think we're live. We're live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, of course, but welcome to a brand new kind of series. As you may know, I have a new microphone and it sounds pristine, crisp, even. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to start something different, something new. This is going to be, I'm about to say a series, but it's not really going to be a series. It's more of a show. The long take. It's obviously a play on my channel's name, the quick take, and it's been something I wanted to do for a while now. It's I don't expect many people to watch it. It's gonna be largely unedited, which is a lot less stress on my behalf. If some of you may not know, but I struggle talking for long periods of time. I could record like that video, that rebuild video. It took me about an hour and 20 minutes to record it. Or I think an hour and 10, hour and 20, something like that. And it got chopped down to 35 minutes. That just gives you an idea of how poor I am at talking. That was with a script. So you can only imagine how poor it's going to be live. But I hope it's not going to be too bad. Anyway, the long take. Yes, this is a. I don't want to say it. I don't want to sell my. I don't want to sell my soul to the devil. But this is gonna be a podcast. I don't know what. I get a few thousand subscribers and think I should start a podcast. Go me. As I said, no, it's something I've wanted to do for a while now, and it gives me an idea to really put across who I actually am. For those of you who don't know, my name is Timothy. No, I'm joking. But yeah, this is basically just giving me an area where I can talk about the stuff that actually kind of intrigues me. With the football stuff, I love football. Um, Trust me, I love football and I love talking about it. I love researching it. But it's not what I always intended for my channel. As you may know, I actually started gaming videos. I did a let's play of The Last of Us on my channel that I actually really enjoyed doing. But that was back in the that was OG TQT. That was old times. That was that was before I moved into the room I'm in now. Before I could put up the phone panels, before I could get the nice microphone arm and the nice mic in my face. I had not even joking. I had an old it's in a drawer next to me. I had an old it wasn't a blue. It was a blue Snowball microphone, but I didn't have an arm, or at least I had an arm, but it was broken. Not my arm, mic arm. And so what I had was a tripod, and I balanced it between my legs as I was sitting cross-legged, speaking into the microphone, trying to fight off hordes of clickers. It was a mess, and not many people watched it. But maybe that's for the best. I'm not going to delete it because, especially the first video, it's cringy as hell. But I feel like in a few years' time, it might be funny to watch it back. Probably same with this. But yeah, what was I saying? See, tangents. This is gonna be something that's gonna happen a lot on this show. Tangents. I'm terrible for going on tangents. What this is? Yes. So this is gonna be a podcast. Yeah. This is gonna be terrible. This is gonna go awfully, innit? Hello everybody. Yes. Talking points. I wrote down some talking points, right, because I knew this would happen. Where I get in a fuddle and I wouldn't know what to say. But I'll explain what it is and then just go. Well done, me. I've really set myself up for a good show here. Right, Ugarte. Sorry, we're going into the first subject. Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte, as some of you may know, I'm a big fan of him. He's a Sporting Lisbon midfielder, and he is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. Available for 60 million. His release clause, and we are in the race. Apparently, well, we are in the race. It's not even apparently at this point. And I think we're actually the favorite club. It's between us and Paris Saint-Germain. I'm getting Hakimi 2.0 vibes here. I just hope that Ugarte doesn't have a wife that prefers to shop in Paris than London. That's what I'm hoping for. We can't have that happen again. Not again. Although everything that's happened with Hakimi, maybe it was for the best. But if we brought him in, that'd be a fantastic piece of business. Ugarte, world class in my opinion, world class. But I actually, as I was saying, I don't want this channel to just be football. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. This wasn't intended to be a football thingy. I actually intended this to be a gaming channel. Weirdly enough, although the whole gaming channel thing is an entirely oversaturated market, it was something I had a lot of fun doing. And the only reason I had to stop doing it is because my MacBook, it just couldn't handle recording. Like, I've got a really good capture card. It's an Elgato HDS Plus, I think, HD 60s, something like that. It does like 4K at 60 FPS, no problem. But I tried to do that with my MacBook and it just kept crashing and it was horrendous. Well, I've got like 6 2-hour long episodes of The Last of Us Part 2 recorded, just sitting on my computer, and I'm not going to release them. I watch them from time to time, and it's actually not too bad. Um, but when I want to do it on a PC, which is what I'm currently serving up from, me and my friend, I don't know if he wants to be named on this channel, but my good friend, he sent me basically a blueprint to follow when building a PC. And so hopefully once I've got the finances available, I will buy the parts and we can build it together, and that'd be a really fun time. Nice bonding experience between the boys. But yeah, once I've got that PC, I'll be able to do much better stuff. As I said, gaming stuff. At that point, I'll have Photoshop. My videos will come out a lot faster. They'll be able to export a lot quicker. As I said, I'm working on a MacBook Air, which is still fantastic. This MacBook Air has taken me through some rough patches, especially in secondary school. I have done many essays on this thing, and it's actually doing all right. I had a bit of a blip. It did have a blip at one point where I had to actually perform surgery on it. I'm gonna have a swig of water. I've realised how dry my mouth gets quite quickly. Hang on. Mm. Oh, nice bit of ASMR for you. But yeah, I had to perform surgery on it. God rest her soul. She's still alive. I just swapped out the battery and the storage. No, it wasn't the battery. It was the storage. I upgraded the storage, and I was a bit worried. It's again the old thingies on my desk on the left here. You can't see it because there won't be any footage on here. It's just audio. Enjoy. But yeah, that was a bit shaky. My first bit of like techie businessy stuff, and I completed it. But I'm moving on from that into a kind of an odd topic, but something that piqued my interest a while back, and I really actually want to talk about it. Has anyone seen The Conjuring? I don't know why I'm asking. Like, there's a live chat to get some feedback, but has anyone seen The Conjuring? Um, I was never very into horror films. I was quite a scared child. When I think I was like 8 years old, and I was just scrolling through YouTube, and it wasn't the Cedar Chucky. It was one of the newer Chucky films. I say newer. This is back in 2011. What kind of what Chucky film came out around then? I can't remember, but it was scary. I remember there was in the trailer, Chucky was in an attic, and the lady was moving her finger, or the person was moving their finger towards the mouth, and then Chucky bites on it, and that's how the trailer ends. Anyway, that trailer freaked me out as a child, and I was never very good with horror films. That and the film Arachnophobia. I don't know if you've seen it. It's got John Goodman in it, I think. So worth the watch just for John Goodman. God rest his soul. He's not dead. But it's a good film. It's actually not. It's actually a terrible film. It's a terrible film. But yeah, The Conjuring. I had a really weird moment when watching The Conjuring. Brilliant film if you haven't seen it. Where I think they were performing The Exorcism, or it was something to. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was another scene where I think they were talking. They were doing something religious, and it kind of got me. Thinking. I'm an atheist, right? And I've always found it very difficult to believe in God. And it kind of made me sad that I couldn't access that. I don't want to say it's tribalistic, but I couldn't access that community. I couldn't access that passage of safety that something like Christianity could provide. And I don't know if that's what it does provide, but I felt concerned that I didn't have that protection. This sounds so stupid, but it's true. It's true. It was one of the films I got a lot out of, and I love it when films kind of give you that. You can watch a film and enjoy it for the film that it is, but when you watch a film and you step away from it kind of questioning things about yourself and questioning. Again, it's The Conjuring. It's not bloody Shutter Island. It's nothing. It's nothing incredible. Well, The Conjuring is a good film, but it's nothing like. It's not 12 Angry Men. It's not, Seven Samurai. Is that the name of the film? I don't know. I'm just waffling. I dropped my pen. Yes. So I kind of had a sad moment of like, why did I have to be an atheist? But it's just I just found it difficult to believe in God, and I wish I could. I wish I could, because I sure would love to know that there's someone looking out for me, or at least there's someone I can strive to please in my day-to-day life other than myself or my parents, which is obviously something that everyone should do, but I don't know, just doing it for a higher power. It would be nice, but it's just something I wouldn't be able to access. And also with The Conjuring ghosts. I have a weird stance on ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts, but at the same time, I would ask questions. I wouldn't just discount it completely. I had a weird moment a couple of years ago where I was leaving the bathroom and someone whispered my name in my ear. And I know that I wasn't hearing things because it came from my right ear. And on my right hand side, there's no doors, there's no nothing. It's a bookshelf and a wall. And so that freaked me out. And it was definitely my name that was whispered. Um, Looking back now, it probably was just, I don't even know what it was. Probably just my fear. I was a very scared child. I said child. This was when I was like 16. um, but that was a weird moment. I do enjoy ghost stories. I used to always stay up late and watch. I think it was Ghost Hunters or some ghost show set in. I think it was either Wales or England, where a couple of presenters. One of them actually went on I'm a Celebrity. I can't remember her name, but they used to just go to like the most haunted places in Britain, and then with one of those little ghosty a ghost Geiger counter. I don't know what the best way to describe it is, but they go there and they try and obviously find the ghost and communicate with them, and sometimes they get a response. But it always creeped me out when they just have the cameraman like sleeping in just a random in a random room and just have a camera on him, or and then the TV would turn on at like 3 in the morning and he'd just sleep through it and it'd just be the loudest static you've ever heard. That stuff creeps me out. But then again, it was a TV show. No, I was about to say it was called Paranormal Activities. That was a weird sound, wasn't it? That sounded like a horse getting its tail trapped in a gate. I don't know. I'm having another drink of water. My mouth's already getting dry. It's been a very hot day, by the way. In the UK, it's been absolutely sweltering. Maybe global warming is happening. I don't know. I don't really have too much thoughts on global warming. I do believe we're doing something. That's what I believe. I do believe that we're doing something. There's no way that the amount of stuff we're burning isn't having some sort of effect on the gases in our atmosphere or something along those lines where temperatures are rising. I do believe that is happening. And I understand the argument that, well, climate changes all the time. There's been ice ages here and there. But this one, it does seem to be directly I don't know. I haven't looked into the statistics. I don't want to say anything yes or no. I'll just put my pen down and just muddling with it, making noises. I don't want to say yes or no to anything or like claim that I know things. Well, I don't. I'm obviously not an expert, and I would never claim to be an expert in something like that. Sorry. But it's a weird subject that gets people quite divided. You're either with them or you're not with them, and I've got to sit on the fence. I'd hate to think that we're actually doing something to the planet that's messing up big time, but at the same time, I like being ignorant to these kind of things because it makes me feel a lot better. Moving on to another topic, Stranger Things. I'm going to adjust myself. Hang on. Oh, there we go. I just assaulted the microphone. I started rewatching Stranger Things. As some of you may know, I quite enjoy that show. I remember when season 4 was being released. I think it was a year ago. either today or yesterday. That's the first kind of half of season 4 was released onto Netflix. But I had quite the unique experience where I hadn't seen Stranger Things. I hadn't watched anything. I hadn't seen a trailer. I hadn't seen any kind of Screen Rant videos. I hadn't seen anything like top 10 scenes. I hadn't seen any theories. I knew nothing. And so 2 weeks before season 4 came out, I spoke to my sister about it, and I said, should I watch Stranger Things? And she said, yes, this is a show you'd absolutely love. And she was completely right. I fell in love with it immediately, and I had the privilege of being able to binge watch it from season 1, episode 1, all the way up to season 4, and then I think I finished season 3 the day season 4 came out. So it was just boom, 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 boom. It was a fantastic experience. I wish I could live it again. And you can actually hear my live thoughts on that, actually, because I remember that was when I was doing my Last of Us playthrough. I'm pretty sure I remember talking about it, and it was a fantastic playthrough. No, it was a fantastic TV show, and I've just started rewatching it a couple of days ago. I started rewatching it yesterday, but it's a great thing, and I quite like David Harbour as an actor. I think he's really good. I think he was like the perfect choice for Hopper. I quite like his backstory as well. I hope we get a spin-off. No, I swear I swear there's a Stranger Things musical, which actually annoys me. It actually annoys me because I remember a few weeks ago, even a month or two ago. I think it was I hit the microphone again. I think it was a couple of months ago where I had the idea of, this is a common theme with me, I had the idea of a Stranger Things musical. I reckon that could have done quite well, and here we are, Stranger Things musical. And this has happened a few times, right? Where I've had an idea for something, and then either literally the next day or a week later, I see that item advertised. And I've never seen it before in my life. First time it happened was the Nintendo Switch. I had an idea. Hang on. There we go. Sorry, that was very rude of me. I had the idea of the Nintendo Switch about a week before I saw a thing about the Nintendo Switch, and I wasn't a massive Nintendo fan, but I obviously knew about PS Vitas, and I had a Nintendo 3DS at the time, and I was like, huh, do you know what would be a really good idea if it was like a Nintendo but a PS Vita? And then obviously the Nintendo Switch came out, and I was raging. And then my other brilliant idea was a little bit more niche, but still annoyed me. But it was I saw a thing on, I can't remember where it was, but I definitely saw a thing where apparently your sense of smell has a large influence on the taste you get from when you're drinking water. And so I had the idea of kind of a hipster water bottle where at the top of it, where your nose is, because when you're drinking, obviously you bring the bottle up to your mouth, and your nose is just kind of either resting, it's just resting near the top. So I had the brilliant idea of having a water bottle that would have some sort of like cubic cage where you could put some sort of something that smells of a certain flavor, whether it's Coke or strawberry or raspberry or orange. And so when you're drinking water, you're also smelling those things, and then that affects your taste. And so even though it's just plain water, it's flavored without having to add any flavoring. I thought that's a good idea. And I'm not gonna lie, I was laughed at by my parents, right? And then the next week, guess what I saw advertised, right? The exact bottle. I was raging. And this isn't, as I said, this isn't the first time it's happened. I have these brilliant ideas, only to find that other people have stolen them. No, they haven't stolen them. Only to find that other people have also had brilliant ideas, and it makes me feel inferior. I'll have another idea, and this time actually, no, that's a lie. I've had an idea, but I'm not going to share it. Because this is something I actually want to put a lot of time and effort into, because I actually think this could make me a millionaire. Rodney, this time next year, we'll be millionaires, right? That is my idea. You may hear about it in a few years' time. Hopefully I do actually go through with it. I think it'd be a fantastic product. Let's just say that. The Last of Us multiplayer. Yes. As I said, I wrote down a lot of talking points, but The Last of Us multiplayer has been cancelled, wiped off the map. No, I'm joking, but it has been delayed. Naughty Dog put out a statement. I'm going to be very unprofessional, and I'm going to Google during a podcast. I really should have done this earlier, but I am unprofessional like that. I hope you enjoy my typing skills. The Naughty Dog multiplayer. This is from Bloomberg. Okay, this was put out a day ago from Bloomberg. Let's just read through the article in full. Why not? It's not like we've got anything better to do. Yes, I accept cookies. I'm going to regret that for the rest of our life. So this is creating a free account, bonus articles. Wait, can I read this without having to pay for it? Oh my god. I guess we're not reading that. IGN. Do I have to pay for IGN as well? Oh, thank God. IGN has a backbone. I can read it without getting... Right. Oh my God. Yes, except cookies. The Last of Us multiplayer reportedly facing setbacks as Naughty Dog announces delay. Naughty Dog also shared it is working on a brand new single-player experience. Wonder what that could be. As reported by Bloomberg, who hide their sources and hide their information through subscription fees, the absolute twats. Right, I'm going to have another drink of water because my mouth is just dry. Sorry. I'm so sorry about this. That can't be fun to listen to. I apologise. The quality and long-term viability of the much anticipated... Here we go. This is why I don't like to do stuff unedited, because you hear about how poorly I can talk. Of the much anticipated The Last of Us multiplayer game has seemingly come into question. As a result, sources have claimed a small group remains on the project while the company reevaluates the direction. Now, this is very, very worrying. It's not like GTA 6. I mean, we were hearing rumors that this was the most... Sorry about that. I'm very gassy. I don't want to burp into the mic because that's very rude. But we were hearing rumors that this is like the most ambitious project yet from Naughty Dog. And yet, they're just putting a small team on it. Yeah. Like, gaming nowadays is very... I'll get into it later. Bloomberg notes the game has not been cancelled at this time, but many of the developers that were working on the project have been moved to others within the company. Now, that is worrying. That is worrying, because at what point do they come back to that? At what point do they come back to the project? What if they feel like the project that they've moved on to is more viable and better than The Last of Us multiplayer? Then it will be dead in the water. Following Bloomberg's request for comment from Naughty Dog, the studio released this statement you can read below in the original story. Okay, so this is the actual statement put out by Naughty Dog. The Last of Us fans, we know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about our Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studio has done thus far, but as development has continued, we've realized what is best for the game is to give it more time. Our team will continue to work on the project as well as our other games in development, including 4 brand new single-player experiences. We look forward to sharing more soon. We're grateful to our fantastic community, for your support. Thank you for your passion for your game. Thank you for your passion for our games. It continues to drive us, Naughty Dog. Now, I must apologize because my eyes are actually getting a bit dodgy nowadays, and I'm a bit concerned that I'm going to have to wear glasses. My glasses. in addition to shut up. In addition to apologizing that it wasn't ready to show off The Last of Us multiplayer game, as the project needs a bit more time. Naughty Dog also confirmed it is hard at work at a brand new single player experience. Naughty Dog took over Twitter to share the update with its fans, as many were expecting The Last of Us multiplayer game to make an appearance at the latest PlayStation showcase. Now, this pisses me off. I watched that showcase and I was very disappointed. I'm very sorry to any Sony employees listening to this. No one's listening to this. But it annoyed me. It annoyed me because I just didn't find any of it interesting. I didn't find any of the VR stuff interesting. The only thing that kind of... I'm not going to use the word interesting again. The only thing that piqued my... interest. Sorry, the only thing that piqued my interest was the obviously Spider-Man 2, and it piqued everyone's interest. Hang on, sorry, I just had to adjust. Oh, my left leg was going numb. A bit like EDP. Not like EDP. Nothing like EDP. But yeah, it was a big letdown. And people were saying that Sony were pulling their punches. I don't know why they would pull their punches. The PlayStation Showcase is literally one of their biggest opportunities to market new games and create hype and potentially make games hit or miss. There's no reason for them to pull their punches. I'm just going to adjust my mic slightly. There we go. Carrying on. Yes, I was a bit annoyed. A lot of fans were excited about the Metal Gear Solid game that was announced. I think it's a remake. Is it Snake Death? Is that what it's called? Snake something? I've never played Metal Gear Solid. I'm sorry. I did watch NerdCube's complete series of it. I think he played through the original game, or the second. I think it was the second one. That was a good series. I quite like how the ice cubes melted. That was a nice attention to detail from, I think, a PS2 game. Very good. We know many of you. I've read out this statement. The note about the brand new single player experience is obviously an exciting one, but Naughty Dog has previously confirmed the studio had already chosen its next game, but didn't go far as to confirm whether it was The Last of Us Part 3 or something else entirely. However, The Last of Us fans may be happy to know that there is an outline for the next chapter in The Last of Us, but it isn't being made yet. We still don't know a ton about The Last of Us multiplayer game, but Naughty Dog did share some concept art from the project earlier this year and say that the studio is shaping up to be a fresh, new experience from our studio, but one rooted in Naughty Dog's passion for delivering incredible stories, characters, and gameplay. Naughty Dog also did say we would learn more about the game this year, and this post makes no mention on the plan being changed. For more, check out, and then it's a link to an article. But yeah, Last of Us multiplayer cancelled. It's not cancelled. It's just I keep saying that it's not been cancelled. It's just been postponed, and we all know that. What that means. That's not good news. I mean, I was excited for it. I didn't really know what it was. I never played Factions. I got into PlayStation quite late. I was always an Xbox guy. I played Xbox. Oh man, so many good memories on that Xbox, man. I remember saving up. I used to get like £10 a month in pocket change. Basically, I'm having another swig of water. My mouth is it's the Sahara Desert out here. Pray for me. Mm. Mm. I remember saving up when I was in primary school, a wee little boy. For 18 months, I got £10 a month, which was pretty big for me. And I saved up and I bought myself. I think it was an Xbox 360 Slim, and it was black. And I played the ever living shit out of that Xbox. It was fantastic. I actually remember the first night I got it, and my parents got a new TV for the front room, and then they gave me the old front room TV for my room, and it was massive. Looking back now, the quality was not the quality wasn't anything brilliant, but back then, that was insane for me. A 10, 11-year-old lad with an Xbox and it was a big TV, and a big TV with playing FIFA and stuff, and that feeling, nothing will ever compare to that. Nothing, just Skyrim and FIFA, and I didn't have many shooting games. I have Quantum of Solace. That was about the most shooting game I had. I didn't have any of the Call of Duties. I was too young, apparently, too impressionable. Meanwhile, games nowadays, you literally cut someone's leg off and no one bats an eye. But going on, yes, games have just kind of fallen off of the wagon. Again, I'll get into that later. But I was carrying on with the Xbox. Yeah, I was on Xbox for about 7-8 years, and then I was going to save up and I saved up to get the either I keep hitting the mic, Series X or the PlayStation 5, and I think it ended up being a coin toss. I literally tossed a coin and it landed on PS5, and lo and behold, I've had many, many, many fun experiences with the PS5, and I got to play loads of games that I've fallen in love with. You know, I loved playing Spider-Man, and obviously I I absolutely adored playing The Last of Us, and it was nice being able to play it on a system that could actually handle it, support it at a good frame rate and good quality and stuff. And the PS5 certainly delivers in that department. I would say so. Um, but yeah, it just seems like that's the common theme of games nowadays. I mean, it's happened with how many games now? Happened to Jedi. It happened to Jedi Survivor. It happened to Cyberpunk. It's happened to the new Golem game, which looks absolutely woeful. I watched some ordinary gamers video about it. Mudahar, shout out Mudahar. Anyone who watches some ordinary gamers, love him. Great man, great channel. Great content. And it just looks laughable. I don't know what's going on with games nowadays. They get rushed. It's a lot like Marvel films nowadays. I think there's such a demand for them that they just get rushed, and then they get released in a broken heap, and just the companies pray that with a few patches and updates they can make it playable. But they're forgetting that people are expecting to be able to play a $70 game that's finished, and that's just not what games are nowadays. Games are released when they're about, I don't know, 95% done. And that sounds like a lot, but that's still 5% of stuff that still needs to be fixed. And games are massive. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes in games that is working fine, but it's the little bugs that ruin the experience, or the performance issues, like as I said about the EA Jedi game, that really just bring into question like what is going on. And obviously crunch is a real thing. I don't think that's gonna be a thing for GTA 6 though, but crunch is a real thing, and developers are put into a corner by investors and just kind of not forced to, but there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders to meet deadlines. Let's just say that, and then corners are cut. And so a game that, like, a bit like Skyrim is a buggy mess, but a game that was kind of released by someone like Rockstar, where like Red Dead Redemption 2, it took forever to make, but the end, the piece of art you got at the end of it, it was your money's worth. I don't remember there being any bugs. I may be wrong, but when it was released, I don't remember anything being wrong, especially nothing to the extent of Cyberpunk 2077. But that's just how games are nowadays. And if the Last of Us multiplayer is not even out yet, and yet they're saying, they're having to take a step back because they're struggling to see like the long-term viability. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. But I did mention GTA 6 there, and like everyone, I'm excited for it. We've been playing GTA 5 for some time now, and although it's still a good game, it still holds up. I haven't played it in a few months, but it's still a fantastic game, and you can only imagine, anyone that's played Red Dead Redemption 2, you can only imagine the level of detail that is going to be in GTA 6. And we saw some stuff in the leaks, and I'm not going to talk too much about the leaks unless I get taken down by Take-Two or whatever, Take-Two Interactive. No one's going to see this. But it looks phenomenal, and that was a couple of years before it's even going to be released. I'll definitely be buying it. I don't care if it's $500. It's not going to be $500. I could see it being the first game that's released out of a base price of like $90 to $100. Because people will pay it. One of the things I learned when I was studying business was supply and demand. The demand for that game is so high that Rockstar could supply it at a high price, and the majority, if not everyone, will still pay it. There might be a bit kind of, are you kidding me? How much? Fine, buy. It'd be that situation like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh well, I'm gonna play this every day for the next 50 years of my life. I may as well just pay it, and it'll be a worthy investment. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't mind paying as much. Wherever they want to charge me for it, I'll pay it. I'm way too thirsty. I wonder why my mouth is so dry. Maybe because I'm talking quite a lot. How long have we been going on for? 34 minutes. Still got 3.5 hours to go. I'm joking. I'm not. I am joking, but I'm not. I've spoken about the problem games. So I had an idea. I quite like answering philosophical questions, and so I thought it'd be a good idea to. This is on a website called Science of People, and there's 255 philosophical questions, and I thought I'd try and answer them all. Right, let's go. Question number. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm not going to do all of them. What is the difference between good and bad people? Good question. Let's have a think about that, people. What is the difference between good and bad people? Well, to me, it all comes down to intent. No, I'm joking. Yes, say if your intent is to stop a bus from hitting an old lady, but without your knowledge, in doing so, you've ran over a family of 5. That doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you a good person who did a bad thing by accident. Now, if you're a bus driver and your sole intention is to run over an old lady, that makes you a bad person. Unless that old lady is somehow connected to Jeffrey Epstein or something. But no, all jokes aside, it really does come down to intent and well, yeah. Ooh, philosophical. I can't talk today. Philosophical questions are catching me out. Good and bad people. It's very difficult to label people as good and bad because everybody's view on what is good and bad is subjective. Like if you asked an ISIS fight, is that even a thing anymore? Are ISIS even around, or did they get nuked off the face of the planet? Say if you asked a terrorist like what they deem to be good and bad, a lot of the stuff that they would say you would disagree with. But I've got to be very careful with this. And they might not say that with malice. That's just what they believe. Does that make them a bad person? Yes, because they're a terrorist. But that's a weird one. I could get in trouble for this. I'm not a terrorist sympathizer at all. At all. It's just a question. I'm moving on. Terrorism is bad. Terrorists are bad people. End of. It is essential to be a good person. Again, that goes back onto what is a good person, a bad person. Is it essential? No, because sometimes you have to be selfish, and being selfish, does that make you a good person? A lot of the time, selfish people aren't labeled as good people, but being selfish, doing stuff for the benefit of yourself instead of the benefit of others, sometimes that needs to be, put forward. You can do as much charity work as you can. You can do as much volunteering as you want. But at the end of the day, if you yourself are getting lost, what's the point? What makes people feel more attached to some people than others? I think it could be bias. It could be racism. No, bias is probably the best way of describing that. What makes people feel more attached to some people than others? It's just stuff they find in common. You like listening to this band? Oh wow. Oh, let's talk about. Oh, you love this book? Oh my god, wow. You like that book? Oh, okay. I'm not really that interested in you. It's just common interests. It's a common thing, common interest. Is tribalism, or looking out for others like you, innately good, bad, or neutral? Now that's an interesting question because tribalism, it quite literally goes back to when we were in tribes. As cavemen. And some people are still in tribes. It's just like a tight knit family group, basically. And looking out for those people, I don't think that's bad. Tribalism, though, you see a lot in football. You see a lot of people like justifying other people's actions because they may support the same football team as you do, and it depends on the actions. If someone's racially abusing someone at a football field, and you think, oh, it's all right, he supports, I don't know, Millwall. Sorry, Millwall fans. He supports a club, generic club, Club A, and you back him on that because he supports the same club as you. That's bad. because you're letting go of your morals over tribalism. But if one of your lads gets punched and you feel like, or you see like a fan you've never met before, but you support the same club, and you see them get punched in the face at a club or a bar or something, and you feel like you have a sense to back him up. I like that. I like that. Now, he might have got punched because he was being a knobhead, right? Knobheads exist. Knobheads get punched. But you look out for your own. And if that is a football club, then that makes sense. But again, if someone's doing something like absolutely unjustified, like racism or sexism or just being a shitty person, then I can obviously understand why tribalism might fail in that sense. If one existed apart from other humans, would they still value goodness? What? Sorry, I'm an idiot. If one existed apart from other humans, I'm gonna move across from that one because I don't really understand. Are there moral commonalities amongst diverse people group? Okay, these are terrible questions. Is the death penalty right or wrong? Now, this is something I have conflicting views about. I actually watched a video, again harkening back to Nerdcube. But I used to love a show he did called Super Nerdcubed, and one of them was he was talking about how one of the Boston Bombers, because the other one got absolutely destroyed, was sentenced to the death penalty, and he thought that was wrong, and that it was better just to locking him. It was just better to lock him up in a room basically for the rest of his life, and have him think the rest of his days about what he's done and actually try and find some remorse in that evil, and just see if it's possible to find remorse in such evil. And I agree to it to an extent. He said that I think he said like it's just revenge, and in some cases I agree with. And I do agree that the death penalty is society's way of getting back legally at someone who's committed either murder or in an incomprehensible act. Like, I don't even want to get into it, but I'm sure you can all understand the kind of acts you would have to do to land yourself on the death penalty. It is a 21st century way of getting back at evil, or just at someone who's committed a crime where you just think, sod you, And do I think it's archaic? I don't know. It depends how it's done. I swear in China, like, it's just like a guy with a revolver in a room. You just got to like sit down and he'll just shoot you in the back of the head, which is kind of funny to how other countries do it. And America has the whole lethal injection and gas chamber. Or do they still do the gas chamber? That's an interesting question. I'm adjusting it again. Do they still do the gas chamber in America? This has gone from me talking about Manuel Ugarte to are there gas chambers still in America? Does America, that's not how you spell does America still use gas chamber? Wow. 5 states authorize lethal gas as a method of execution, but all have lethal injection as an alternative method. A federal court in California found this method to be cruel and unusual punishment. For execution by this method, the condemned person is strapped to a chair in an airtight chamber. That is actually one of the most horrific ways I can imagine dying. It's like strapped in a chair as either poisonous gases are filled into the room or just all the air is sucked out and you're just there until you die. That would mess me up big time. That would be absolutely horrible. It would be kind of interesting though if there was some way where you could control memory. This is like a Black Mirror thing, but it would be kind of interesting if you could control and manipulate memories, and then at the end of the experience, all your memories get given back to you. But it'd be kind of interesting if you could be given the fake memories of someone who's done a heinous act and you're on death row, and then you basically go into the execution thingy believing that everything around you is real and that you are about to be killed, and just kind of recording everything. This is a really deep subject, but just kind of like recording everything and recording your reactions. And then at the end of the experience, obviously you don't die, but at the end of the experience, you're giving your memories back. But you're also allowed to keep the new ones you made. And so you get that you kind of you're not harmed in any way, but then you're also given the memories and you're given the experience of feeling like you're about to die, and the relief. Some people may find relief from that, because I remember listening to I think it was the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's this little niche podcast, and this guy was talking about how the time when he had a heart attack and he thought he was going to die, and he felt oddly at peace. And as someone who's been terrified of death for a while now, this was somewhat comforting to hear. And he basically, I can't remember the exact conversation. I hate doing this. I can't remember. Yeah, he basically said something along the lines of how differently he looks at life, and I just feel like that could be kind of interesting if you could go through that experience and just give yourself that new perspective on life that you might not have been able to achieve beforehand. I've had a brilliant idea, by the way. I'm actually going to pour my water into a cup, so every time I want to drink it, I don't have to unscrew it, and it sounds really annoying in the microphone. Probably should have done this before the recording started. Hang on. I used this cup for beer last night. Ugh. You are disgusting. Let's try this. See, this is a bit less. Lovely. Anyway, yes. I don't know how long I'm gonna make this. But yeah, another video idea. This is completely changing subject, but I've been having a few video ideas. I don't know if you'd like to see it, but I thought it might be kind of interesting to kind of be a little bit more open with my channel and just kind of like show you guys the amount of money like I'm generating from my videos. I'm quite a small channel. I've only got, I say only, this is insane to me that 8,500 people have subscribed to me. I think I started the year on like 170, maybe 70. I've grown quite quickly. I remember my first big video. It was about the tendrils being removed from The Last of Us, and I say it was my first big video. It's at like 20,000 views. I think 20 something thousand views. But I remember when it hit 100 views for the first time, and I had that feeling that I've never had again. It was so well. I've had it a few times, but pardon me. Sorry, that was horrible. I'm very gassy. I hate it. I'm gonna get some medication for it, something like that. But it was incredible, and it hit 100 views, and I was just going mental. I was like, oh my god, I've gone viral. I haven't gone viral. It was 100 views, mate. But that feeling, it can never be topped. And then at that point, I was just reading the comments, and I was just seeing everyone's kind of different views and perspectives on it, and I was just reading and replying to everyone. I was just so excited, and that gave me the drive to really continue with it. And then I did another video about The Last of Us that did quite well, just kind of explaining what the tendrils are. And then I did my videos kind of explaining my thoughts on each episode of the TV show. If you haven't seen it, go watch the TV show. Brilliant show. I'm getting really tired. It's been a long day. Had a long day at work. I should say that. Long day. Hot day as well. And yes, so and then obviously I started doing my football content, which I absolutely love, and I never planned to do. I never planned to do it. I always kind of wanted to do like, I don't know if I wanted to do football content, but I wanted to do it on like a second channel, like TQT Talks Football. That's a terrible name for a channel, by the way. Don't. That was just off the top of my head, but just like something talks footy or something like that. That would never have got any views, but I didn't want to just do the every fan channel thing where you just at the end of each game you just scream and holler and just shout expletives at managers, at players about how it's not good enough and this and that. I didn't just want to be like everyone else, so I decided to combine my naturally talented, award-winning writing skills. True story. I might tell you that story later on in the next episode. And I combined that with my obviously love and passion for football, and I started doing manager breakdowns because at the time I was very frustrated with Graham Potter, and I'm kind of doing what I just said I didn't want to do, but I was very angry with Graham Potter, and so it was kind of my way of coping was exploring other options, and I think Hansi Flick was the first one I did, and I stand by it. I reckon Hansi Flick would have been a fantastic coach for us, but obviously he's at Germany, and I wish him all the best. But then that video did really well. I was like, okay, I'll try this again. And then we started getting linked to managers. And then I was like, okay, so I could do one on him. I could do one on him. I could do one on him. And then we got really linked to Luis Enrique, but I'd already done one for Luis Enrique quite a while ago. So, and then that video started getting more views, and one thing led to another, and here we are. All I can say is thank you so much for everyone who's watched my manager breakdowns. They're a lot of fun to put together. You know, I didn't understand what I was getting into, but there is a lot of I take a lot of enjoyment out of researching someone to that extent that I have to do for the breakdowns. Like each breakdown comes to about 4,000 to 6,000 words. That's not easy, but I do that in a couple of days. And it's funny because like my short span doing like actually like scripted videos, I swear I've done more work ever than I ever did at school or at college. It's unbelievable the amount of work I put into the videos, and you know, you guys enjoy them, so I'm going to continue doing them, and I absolutely love them, and I just hope that someday the videos will get better and more people will find them, and we can grow our community even larger, and I can meet some of you. That'd be kind of a bit fun. Imagine that, meeting some of you guys. I'd love to do that at some point. I'm getting off topic. But yeah, as I said, this was never meant to be a football challenge. Wow, a football channel. This has gone full circle. I always wanted to do like gaming videos. I also wanted to do like long video essays, like a couple of hours, like 2-hour video essays. I love a channel called The Right Opinion and The Closer Look. Those two channels I find absolutely fantastic. And their style of video is just so satisfying to me. It's one of my big inspirations, to be fair, to kind of combine that video essay style with football. It was just a match made in heaven. It was a match made in heaven. I'd say go check them out. Closer Look and The Right Opinion, and they do like really long video essays for subjects like Star Wars or YouTube drama, like characters like Nikocado Avocado. And what was the other one? H3 one was a fantastic one. I really enjoyed that one. And the Trisha Paytas one, that was like 6 hours. How long was that Trisha Paytas like thingy? I'm having a look at this. Hop onto YouTube real quick. That's my channel. The Right Opinion. Just try H3. How long was that video? Fucking hell. 4 hours and 15 minutes. The Rise and Fall of Frenemies, Trisha and Ethan's Impossible podcast. 2.6 million views. I was one of them. I watched that and I was just like, wow, that was really good. This guy, The Right Opinion, is fantastic, by the way. Like the level of detail and the amount of time he puts into his videos is just unreal. And I'd love to be able to do that. Hopefully in the coming weeks or months, I will be able to put a lot more time into the videos. That is something I'm actively exploring, by the way. Being able to put a lot more time into the videos than I have been able to do. Make them higher quality, more obviously quantity, and keep you guys entertained. It's gonna be a bit weird trying to figure out what to do for the summer. Obviously, there's no football. And the series, I'm just completely forgetting, like a World Cup. No, we just finished the World Cup, so there won't be a Euros. And anything that isn't the World Cup or Euros is always ass when it comes to international football. So I'll probably just kind of do what I planned on doing anyway, which was starting an OnlyFans. No, which was just kind of finding my feet and finding stuff that I really enjoy. That's another thing. A lot of you, not a lot of you, but I saw a few of you saying about pardon me. Ooh. Did it again. I saw a few of you saying how you never want me to change from the football content, and although I love talking about football, and I wish I could do it for the rest of time. That isn't like a genre I really want to cement myself into. I quite like the idea of going into that kind of speaking about gaming news and speaking about, or keeping obviously the football content thingy, but doing video essays on subjects that I find interesting, like the JFK assassination, and doing deep dives into true crime, and as I said, carrying on the long take but podcast. This is the first episode, by the way, if you haven't realized. Make sure you're liking it, by the way, actually, and showing it to your friends, because it would help. I don't know how it would help. It's just something people say, isn't it? That is weird, isn't it? Like how every again, no tangent, but I'm going on one. Intros were weird. I remember when I first kind of really knew I wanted to start a channel, I studied like all of the biggest YouTubers, and the one I kind of the one that kind of drew me closest to them was obviously Nerdcubed and Jacksepticeye. I really liked his style of video, and I studied his intro. I didn't want to steal it because one, I'm not Irish, and two, I wanted to be original. But I obviously looked at people like Markiplier. I looked at PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, literally the biggest names you could imagine. And I tried to form a channel name and an intro and a style kind of around them. Again, you probably think your channel's nothing like them, which is good. That means I found an original idea. But yeah, that whole process was just weird. And I went down like a rabbit hole of YouTubers and small channels. Like, I swear, like every day, like there's thousands of channels like mine created, and only a few of them, literally like a few of them, grow. And it's kind of sad because I feel like there's a lot of incredible YouTubers out there. Pardon me again. That's horrendous. I feel like there are a lot of like massive people out there that have, not massive people, that's rude. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who have massive potential, but they just didn't know how to work thumbnails, or they just didn't know how to get the right video kind of style. That was intriguing and that the algorithm would pick up. I don't really know how the algorithm works. I know how the thumbnails work, right? I know how impressions through click rate work, right? I understand that how having a captured title and a captured thumbnail is key. But there are a lot of people, you can imagine that many people, at least a few of them, have slipped through the cracks that would make absolutely fantastic content. And I'm just glad that I wasn't. No, I'm joking. I'm still out. I'm small. I'm tiny. I'm a minute channel, right? I've got no subscribers compared to some of these guys, and yet I've got such a large and loving community that actively look out for my new videos. And that's such a weird concept to me, that there's people out there who actually watch my videos. And I've said that on. I put a post out on my community thingy, like just showing pure gratitude. And that was what I feel. That was what I was feeling. That is what I'm feeling now. Just pure gratitude. Because I understand how lucky I am. And this is something I've always wanted to do. I never did it in school because, one, bullying exists. And two, no, I'm joking. No, that's one of the reasons. I was always like afraid of showing myself on the internet or having my voice out there because I thought it was like a weird voice. I've come to terms with it now. It's just a voice. Everyone's got a different voice, and everyone speaks differently in a different cadence, and it's just how it is. But yeah, I wish I had started earlier, because I feel like, well, it could have toughened me up. It could have toughened me up and made me a more expressive YouTuber nowadays. And imagine where I'd be if I started 2-3 years ago. Holy moly, I would have been a billionaire. No, that would have been kind of cool though. But without the social pressure of school, it definitely helped me really put as much effort into this as much as I'd like, because there was no social backlash. You have a cringeworthy video, and the worst thing you're gonna get is a comment or someone's going to tweet at you saying they found your video cringy, and you can deal with that. It's like, what's that Tyler One tweet where it's like cyberbullying doesn't exist? I'm not going to say the full tweet because there's a word in there. But I completely understand that statement. It's at that point, it's literally words on a screen. It's not like an actual person speaking to you and confronting you and actively laughing in your face, which would just be horrific. And that never happened, thankfully. But it could have done. It could have done. Although my videos are actually, I'm happy with my videos. I'm actually fairly happy with my videos. And maybe this is the only thing I won't be happy with. Maybe I am waffling to the point where I'm digging myself into a hole. I mean, I've spoken about some interesting subjects today in this episode. I don't know why I had to bring up terrorism. All right, I just want to point out I've absolutely despised terrorists. I don't even know why I'm having to say this. My point was being who thinks that they're in the right and who thinks that the opposition is wrong, because everyone believes that they're right unless they believe they're wrong. Idiots. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I keep digging. It's just me. Dig. I'm just digging. Dig. I've got to be very careful when I say that. That could have gone very badly. I just kept going, didn't I? I just couldn't stop talking. But let me just try and hark it back onto a new subject. The Dune. Just Dune. The book Dune. I watched. I didn't know anything about it, but I ended up watching the film not long ago on Now TV. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Timothy Chalamet and who's the guy that was in Moon Knight? Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton and Jason Momoa was in it, and it was actually really good. And Josh Brolin and Stellan Skarsgård from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is one of my favorite all-time films ever. Fantastic film. Daniel Craig is unbelievable in that, and so is Stellan Skarsgård and Rooney Mara. Fantastic. But yeah, Dune, great film. I tried watching it a year ago and I just couldn't get into it. I thought it was a bit slow, but I decided, you know what, I'm gonna force myself to sit through it. Jacob Isaac, is that his name? Anyway, Jason Isaac, something like that. And I forced myself to sit through it. I actually really enjoyed it, to the point where I've actually ordered the book and I put it out on my Twitter that I was reading it. I am reading it, and it's actually a really good book. I hit the mic again. It's a really good book. Someone said like apparently Star Wars was based off of it, and I can see why. I can see the similarities. Obviously, a completely different story, but I mean, Paul and Luke Skywalker kind of are similar. You know, they're both like the chosen one, and that's in that sense that everything could be similar to Dune, because Harry Potter could also be said to be similar. You know, the chosen one and stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed that film, and it was one of those films where you could tell it was more of a arty film. I really like the arty films, like The Whale. The Whale. I watched The Whale a few days ago now, actually, and I found that to be. Oh, I hit the mic again. Poor me. I absolutely loved it. I thought Brendan Fraser and Sadie Sink, and I can't remember the other actors' names. I'm so sorry. But unbelievable. I can see why he got the Oscar, and I didn't realize how good of an actor he was. I saw him in Journey to the Center of the Earth with Josh Hutcherson. That was like the last film I saw with Brendan Fraser. But his performance in The Whale was just fantastic. And I'll watch it again. I will watch it again because I love films like that don't need many characters to tell a great story. That and The Lighthouse. Those two films are up there in my top 10 films list, along with Shutter Island and Shawshank Redemption. And I'm going to not say them all because I might do a thing at some point where I go through my top 10 films and really kind of go deep into all of them. But I really like films that take the time to really flesh out a handful, and I mean a handful of characters, really flesh them out and focus entirely on them and not get distracted by other plot points, just literally just the characters themselves. That is why I love The Whale so much, and I wish I'd seen it in cinemas, but I haven't been to the cinema in donkey's years. The last time I went to the cinema was on I've got it on here actually. Is it in here? The last time I went to the cinema is on the 4th of January 2023. And you know how I know that? Because that is when I tested positive for COVID the first time. I went to go see, I got my first positive COVID test in a bag actually. I'm going to freeze that. Oh, shit. You bloody idiot. Sorry about that, everyone. Ooh, bugger. Sorry, hang on. Ooh. Is everything alright? Okay. Bad me. Yeah, ooh, hang on. Yeah? Okay, no, it's still coming through. Idiot. Sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. Yes, COVID. I had COVID on the first week because I went partying. I say partying, I went clubbing for New Year's at, I'm not going to say where, but it was somewhere in Scotland. And obviously, that many people, you're going to catch something. And I managed to catch COVID for the first time. And it absolutely sucked. It absolutely sucked. It was the most ill I've ever been. I'll say that. And I felt so drained. I remember waking up the morning at like 4 o'clock, well, in the morning, and just feeling absolutely rubbish. I was completely drenched in sweat. I was shaking. My mouth was dry. I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't do anything. I just felt off and I couldn't stop shaking. And then the next day, my eyes were just so dry and my nose was I was so bunged up and my throat was killing me. And we went to the cinema and had to go see the new Avatar film, which is like 50 hours long. And then we didn't even see the normal version. We went to go see like 3D. So I had the 3D glasses with my eyes already stinging because I had barely any sleep. And I was ill with COVID at the time when I didn't even know. And I sat through 3 hour and 72-minute film. just absolutely feeling like hell on earth. And I went home and the first thing I did was I tested myself because I was like, I've got something. And I came through positive, and I put a little sign on the door saying unclean, and a was it a red cross or a black cross? Whatever they did for the Black Plague, I did that on my door, and I locked myself away for a few days. And then I went to work, and then that was a terrible decision because then I just wiped myself out, and I missed 2 days of work. That was bad. Don't catch COVID, folks. It kills you, literally. It kills you if you're very unlucky. It does kill. It killed a lot of people. A lot of very unlucky people caught COVID and killed them. God rest their souls. I'm not going to speak about the vaccines because I don't really have a feeling towards the vaccines. I'm not going to speak about them. I'm just going to move on. Yes. So I haven't been to the cinema in ages. That was what I was talking about originally, wasn't it? And so I never went to go see Dune. It came out in 2021, and I enjoyed it. I'm going to see the new film in cinemas. I know that's coming soonish, I think. Surprisingly, we didn't see a lot of Zendaya's character. I always thought she was built up as like this second lead, basically. And then we got like 2 and a bit hours into the film, and that was when they kind of really introduced her. We had some like prophecy shots of her, but that was it. I thought she was like a big character. Obviously not. Timothée Chalamet definitely was the man in front of the camera for that film. But I quite enjoyed it. The book, I'm looking forward to reading the book. Apparently there's like 20 something books in the series. Fair play. Mr. Author, what was the guy's name that wrote it? The books are, hang on. You're going to hear me shuffling away slowly. I'm going to take off my headphones actually before I destroy something. Hang on. Ooh. What was his name? It was Hubert or something, wasn't it? Hubert? The guy's name was Frank Herbert. Yes, not Herbert. Not Hubert. Herbert. Frank Herbert. That actually reminds me of something completely random. So Beetlejuice 2 is coming out at some point in the next millennia. I'm very excited. As some of you may know, I quite enjoy Beetlejuice. The original 80s film, great film. Very 80s, and that's what I love about it. I quite like the 80s. It's my favorite time period. Growing up, all I did was watch Back to the Future, the trilogy on repeat. It was just fantastic times, man. Good childhood. Good childhood starts with Back to the Future. But yeah, I didn't have much interest in Beetlejuice. I just thought he was the guy from the Howard Stern show. And then I watched the film with Michael Keaton and who's the guy that shot someone on Rust? Alec Baldwin. And who else was in it? Winona Ryder was in it. She's going to be in the new one. She was obviously in Stranger Things. Who else was in it? I can't remember. But a great film. Oh, the guy, Jeffrey Jones. Jeffrey Jones was in it. And the mum from Home Alone. And I thought it was fantastic. One of my favorite films, actually. And they did a musical. The Beetlejuice musical on Broadway. And it's... Are they on Broadway? I don't know. They are on Broadway. It's fantastic. I'd love to see it live, but I don't know when they come to the UK, and it'll obviously be quite a long distance from where I am. I am far from London, although I have been to London. I went down to London for my 18th birthday, and we went down, and I did all the things that I've wanted to do in London. Obviously, visited Stamford Bridge. I stayed at the hotel just outside the bridge. That was amazing. Just I could literally look out my window at the shed end. It was man. Imagine living like near Stamford Bridge. Why am I welling up with tears? That's so sad. And then we just saw some sights, and then I went to go see the making of Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studio in Watford. That was fantastic. That was honestly I want to do it again. It was so good. It was so good. Growing up, I love Harry Potter. I absolutely adored Harry Potter. That was like my thing. I still love it. I haven't read the books in years now. I really want to start, but as I said, I'm reading Dune at the moment, so maybe some point down the line. I'd actually like to do like a book review. That was another thing. I'm getting sidetracked again. But I want to do a book review thing on my channel. That's another thing I have on my channel was kind of like movie reviews, TV show reviews, and book reviews. One of the first podcasts, if not the first podcast I actually discovered, was a podcast called Now Playing with Arnie and Stuart and Brock. And I haven't listened to them in years, so forgive me for getting some of their names. But they had a specific show called Books and Nachos, where they'd read a book and they just review a book. It's a tried and tested thing, and it was something I actually quite enjoyed listening to. It was mainly Stuart NLA that did it. That was his name, Stuart NLA. Sorry about that, everyone. We're back. Yes, I really enjoyed that podcast, and I think you guys should listen to it. That was way back. That was back when I was like 9. I want to say 9. Because I quite liked James Bond back then, and they had a Now Playing retrospective series kind of going through all the James Bond films for the release of Skyfall. So I would have been 11 actually, not 9, 11. 9/11. I would have been 11 around about that time, because James Bond came out in 2000. Skyfall came out in 2012. I want to say 2012. That's actually a great film, by the way, Skyfall. I really want to visit Glencoe, where they filmed obviously the famous scene with the Aston Martin. I think fantastic. I'd love to go hiking through there. I'm in Scotland. I don't know what I live in Scotland, by the way. I don't know why I've never been further than like Glasgow. That's a lie. I've been to Stirling. I've never been higher than Stirling. I've never been to the Highlands. I've never been to the Loch Ness. I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. Where was I? Dune. Yes, good book. Getting through it. It's quite a large book, and as I said, there's quite a lot of books in this series. I've always liked the idea of writing a book. I had like an idea. Well, I've had quite a few ideas for books. One of them was you know what? Do you want me to go through my notes? Because one of the things I did when I was bored was I just kind of not write mini stories, because it was never a mini story. It was just like ideas. Sorry about this, everyone. Books I need to... No, it's not right. Books I need to read, idiot. This is fantastic stuff to listen to. Aren't you excited that you're listening to this? I can't find it. Why can't I find? You know what, I'm just gonna go from my memory. So the idea of the book was it was kind of somewhat inspired by Stranger Things, in the sense that it was the MK Ultra tests, where I think it was it the FBI or the CIA. One of them was doing some sort of tests using psychoactive drugs like LSD and that kind of stuff, and then doing psychological tests on people, basically trying to unlock the ability of, not unlock the ability like a some sort of progression tree, but like unlock the knowledge behind potential mind control. Obviously it didn't work and now everyone knows about it, but not many people know about it. You know what I mean? They know about it, they may have heard of it, but they don't know about it. And I thought it could be quite an interesting subject to base a story around. My kind of idea behind it would be as the reader, you got no idea what's going on, same as the person in the book. Obviously if you read this, obviously if I end up writing this book, you know exactly what's going to happen because I'm about to spoil it. But basically the reader, along with the protagonist in the book, we gather information at the same time, and I kind of wanted to make it very difficult to gather information and make your own assumptions. And so when twists and turn happen in the story, they're not predictable. And I think that'll just make for a very good book, some sort of MK Ultra thing where everything's really symmetrical. I quite like Stanley Kubrick, actually. That's the thing. I really like Stanley Kubrick as a director, so I thought I'd take his inspiration of that and take the inspiration of Stranger Things and mix the two, Stanley Kubrick and Stranger Things. Imagine those two combined. I think it'd be bloody brilliant. But yeah, it's just an idea for a book. Nothing to do with my other business idea that I have been planning for some time now, and I will hopefully make millions from. But I'm going to leave it there. That is actually going to be the end of the first episode of The Long Take. I've waffled on for about an hour and 20 minutes about a whole range of stuff, and it got off track very quickly. However, if you are still listening to this, which I highly doubt. Oh, by the way, Vitor Roque, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry. Got a 7.9 rating in his last game. That just popped on my phone. 7.9. He's 18 years old, by the way. Not bad. He scored the only goal. What a player. Yeah, so that's going to be the end of the episode there. If you are still listening to this, like, comment, I don't see many people watching this, but I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this because I actually kind of want to just, at the end of the day, know that no matter what happens, this is going to be going out, and that I'm able to just kind of relax and just talk like I do anyway. I talk to myself quite a lot. I'm quite a talkative person when I'm alone. The first sign of insanity is talking to yourself. I am the number one patient. I talk to myself all the time, which is why I thought this would be the perfect job. And I'm making money from it, so yay. It's a drinking game, actually. I should have said this at the start. Every time I say down your drink, I would have killed about 5,000 people. I did it again. I'm trying to think of something else to say when you're trying to wrap up this video. Anyway, wrapping up the thingy, the long take. It's been a very long take, I'll tell you that. It's coming up to an hour and 20 minutes for the first, I'd said it again, didn't I? For the first episode, it's not too bad. I would like to try and keep it more structured. Now, it's like breathing. You're breathing right now, by the way. There you go. I've just made you start manual breathing. Ha ha. I did it again. Imagine if there was some sort of electro therapy where every time you said the word, you would get a shock. How well do you reckon that would work? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not going to try it on anyone. Don't say it. So, yes, I'm just going to end it there. I've waffled on for too long now. I didn't say it. If you liked it, get in the comments. Give me questions. I want to answer some questions. I've got hopefully hopefully, I'd like to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is my goal. That was actually my goal at the start of the year. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. At the start of the year, my goal was to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I've blown past that quite quickly, so I've had to adjust my goals accordingly. Yeah, so my new goal is to reach 1 billion subscribers by the end of next week. No, my new goal is to reach, I think 15,000 by the end of the year. That would be insane. Like, from starting off at 100 at the start of the year and just growing that without a social media presence to bring over an already large audience slash, I don't even know what other word to describe it. Bring over more other. It's like how KSI is so popular on Spotify because he's already got tens of millions of subscribers on YouTube to pull across to boost his numbers. There's no wonder. I started off with none of that, and I feel like I've done quite well, and I'm quite happy with the amount of people that as I watch my videos and I see the names in the comment section, I see the repetitive names, and don't just think that you're going unnoticed. As I said, I do read every comment, and I try to reply as many of them as I do, and I do recognize the names that I see popping up time and time again. And for those people that are watching every video, and for those people that are commenting and replying to my community posts, thank you so much. You really mean the world to me, and hopefully one day I'm able to repay the favor. And that's where I'm going to end it there. If you did like the first episode of The Long Take, just like it and tell me how much you love me in the comments. I'm joking. Tell me how much you hate me and how much I'm stumbled in this video because I cannot talk. Finally, that I want to make talking my professional, but I can't talk. It's going to end well, innit? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode of The Long Take. See you later.